Imagine walking away from the spotlight you've owned for 2 decades, not because of a scandal or a slip-up, but because the truth started feeling like a luxury too many could no longer afford. Picture this: a woman at the peak of her power, trusted by insiders who risk everything to whisper secrets, suddenly vanishing from the airwaves. No dramatic exit, no farewell tour, just silence. And in that silence, a storm brewing that could redefine what it means to chase the facts in a world that often prefers the fiction. This is the story of one journalist's unyielding stand, a tale that hits like a gut punch, leaving you angry at the system and inspired by the soul who refused to bend. She didn't drift into this life, she was forged for it. Raised across borders, she crossed into the US with fire in her veins, chasing stories that could shift the ground beneath us. Elite schools sharpened her edge at top university for her undergrad in reporting, then a master's from one of the nation's premier journalism programs. This wasn't about chasing headlines for fun. It was about mastering the craft, building a shield of knowledge that no corner cutting could pierce. By the late 90s, she stepped into the chaos of a rising cable news powerhouse, the kind that shaped national conversations with its bold voice and unfiltered edge. For 20 years, she carved out a niche as the go-to voice on shadows that most dared not touch. Covert ops, threats from afar, the quiet machinations of power. Sources didn't just feed her lines, they handed over their futures, betting on her word like it was armor. And she delivered clean, sharp reports that cut through the noise without a drop of hype. Accolades followed like echoes, international honors for her depth, nods from peers for her precision. In an arena where outrage often outshone insight, she stood apart, a beacon of straight talk. No spin, no screams for clicks, just the weight of what was real, laid bare. It wasn't flashy, but it was fierce, and it made her untouchable until the ground shifted. Whispers of tension surfaced early. A decade in, she locked horns with her network over fairness in the pay structure. Not for greed, but for the quiet dignity of equal worth. She pushed back, held firm, and came out stronger. It was a glimpse of the steel within. When the easy road tempted, she'd veer toward the ridge that tested her core. All the while, she wove in the threads of home a fierce guardian to her kids, a steady partner through the long nights. She owned the grind, the way it pulled at heartstrings and deadlines alike, but never let it unravel her. Her roots, spanning cultures, fueled a hunger for voices too often sidelined, turning every piece she penned into a bridge, not a wall. For years, this rhythm hummed, success stacking like stones in a fortress, but fortresses crack. As the 2010s waned, the air inside her network thickened. A new political tide rolled in, and with it, a pivot that blurred the line between straight news and slanted cheers. What had been a mix, flawed but functional, tilted hard toward echo chambers, where loyalty to a viewpoint trumped the chase for clarity. Colleagues felt the chill. Some slipped away, their goodbyes laced with unspoken regrets. The vibe turned tribal debates in hallways, turning to divides. Hard digs, drowned by hot-button rants. For her, wedded to the hunt for unvarnished truth, it was like breathing smoke. Her work demanded she prod at power, no matter the jersey it wore. Yet the room was shrinking, the rules rewriting themselves to favor the roar over the reveal. The breaking point loomed like a shadow you can't outrun. Stories she chased clashed with the network's new North Star, forcing choices no reporter should face: twist the facts to fit, or step into the unknown. It gnawed at her, the slow erosion of what she'd poured her life into. And then, in a move that rippled like a stone in still water, she chose the door. After 2 decades, she was out, not shelved, not shamed, gone on her own terms. The industry buzzed. Why now? Her words cut deep. She craved a haven where deep dives and raw honesty still ruled, where the story's pulse mattered more than the pulse of the polls. She landed at a venerable broadcast giant, the sort with history etched in its walls, promising room for the kind of probes that peel back layers. It felt like solid ground, a fresh chapter, where her edge could thrive without the tug of war. Excitement hummed. This could be the reset, the place to rebuild without compromise. But hold on, because what came next wasn't a triumph. It was a twist that would leave you questioning every promise the industry whispers. If this story touches your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear how one person's fire can light up the dark corners. We all ignored Dawn broke ordinary on that February morning in 2020, but by dusk, her world had fractured. A video call, curtain cold. Your role ends here. No build-up, no handoff, just a digital guillotine. Then the locks clicked, email severed, doors barred, as if she'd never belonged. Brutal, but not unique. The axe fell on others too, a grim tally of 20 souls in one swipe. The media machine, battered by shifting eyes and empty ad dollars, was pruning deep. Streaming appended the old guard. Audiences fled to bites over broadcasts, and newsrooms everywhere echoed with the same hollow thud. Yet this cut ran deeper, venomous in its reach. They didn't just boot her, they claimed her notes, stacks of them, raw and revealing. Not fluff or filler, but the lifeblood, whispers from shadows, names cloaked in trust. Sources who'd bared their risks, banking on her vow of silence, now dangled in corporate hands. The betrayal stung like frostbitter outlet that lured her with oaths of bold inquiry, now gripped the very tools that made it possible. Ethics, a casualty in the cost-cutting war. She didn't lash out, didn't spill venom in interviews. Grace held her tongue, but inside, the fire raged. Those pages weren't hers alone. They shielded lives, careers, truths waiting to breathe free. Pause here, because the fallout from that grab isn't just personal, it's a siren for us all. In the trenches of real reporting, the unspoken pact is sacred. You shield the source, or the well runs dry. Break it, and the ripple, a drought of daring. No more leaks from the labyrinths of power, no exposures that topple the untouchable. She knew this, lived it her career, a testament to bonds forged in quiet peril. And as the dust settled, one thread from those files began to unravel into something explosive, pulling her not just from the desk, but toward bars that could cage more than her spirit. It started simple enough, a probe into a scientist caught in the web of federal scrutiny, ties to distant shores raising red flags. Her sources, veiled and vital, painted the picture, details doled out in hushed exchanges, etched into her work with care. She aired it straight, honoring the code that's cradled the craft since ink met page. Then the gavel fell. A court's demand, stark and unyielding, name them, unveiled the guardians of the untold. Her answer, a quiet, iron no. Not defiance for show, not a bid for headlines, but a stand for the soul of the work. To crack that seal would shatter the faith that fuels every follow-up. Every bombshell born from bravery, the fallout crashed like a wave. Contempt, the judge's rebuke, a stain on a ledger spotless as fresh snow. Here she was, degrees from the heights of learning, shelves bowed under honors. 2 decades of unerring pursuit, now branded for fidelity to the oath she swore. The irony twisted like a knife. The pursuit of justice in one corner threatened to blind the watch in every other. But zoom out, and the shadow grows. This isn't her solo skirmish. It's a fault line under the Fourth Estate. Shielding sources isn't a perk, it's the pulse. Without it, the bold stay buried, the crooked walk free, and the light we count on flickers out. Think of the dominoes. A whistleblower weighs the whisper. Eyes on the fallout, job lost, life appended. A insider spots the rot, hesitates at the edge of exposure. Silence wins, and so does the shroud. That's the chill, they call it, the freeze that grips before the storm. Sources retreating, stories starving, her voice cut through the static. To yield would endanger not just them, but the fragile web holding back the flood of hidden harms. And the chorus rose peers from every aisle, guardians of the free word, locking arms in her defense. This transcended sides. It was the raw nerve of liberty, the line where inquiry meets impunity. But wait, the saga doesn't halt at the bench. Layers peel back to reveal a bolder stroke. Late last year, she turned the tables, stepping into the fray, pro se, her own advocate in the echo of empty pockets. No team of high-paid sharks, just her gavel against the ghosts of old grievances. Timed to a fleeting legal window, her filing landed like a gauntlet, buying breath to breathe life into buried claims against her first network. Its raw, relentless, a lone figure in the docket, trading ease for the echo of right. What drives that? Not spite, but the unquenchable pull of purpose. She's not just clawing for vindication, she's carving a canyon for the craft to flow free. This clash, so singular, mirrors it's the tug between the court's thirst for threads and the press's vow to veil the vulnerable. Lose here, and the floodgates swing. Any bench could summon names at whim, turning pledges to ash. The flow dries, tips ignored, probes aborted, the mighty unchained. Democracy's guard dog, muzzled, watches as shadows lengthen. Yet, in her unbowed gaze, a spark, proof that one thread can tether the unraveling. Her path from anchors glowed to exile's edge lays, bare the fractures we feign unseen. No outlet stands pure. The grind of gold grinds down the good. One faltered on fervor over fidelity, the next on ledgers over legacy.